Welcome back to another episode or lap in the power of the Falcon. Last time, Rick and Tinsel actually managed to save Lily Flyer, who is a young though strict recruit in the Galaxy Forces. And her mission is to stop Don Genie from awakening the four colossi known as the four deities in the planet Giant. And coincidentally, Rick and Tinsel are scheduled to spend a vacation there for about a week. So, they actually decided to tag along with Lily, and so they're on their way to Planet Giant. What will they find there? Well, let's find out. By the way, it seems like I'm ripping off of Pokemon the Movie 2000 here. You got me. Now give a fuck lap too. Alright, let's get this thing going. By the next morning, he and Tinsel made their last-minute preparations for the outer space odyssey. How are we going to get there? Would we use the Falcon flyer? Lily was kind enough to let us use her cruiser for the Space Forces. This mission should be intriguing. Wonder what we'll find. I hope we'll be able to fit in since a lot of people don't approve F-Zero racing. Or how we live. I sometimes can't stand to be chastised. I suppose we should keep our advanced toys a secret, Tinsel. Lily advised us we should use caution. This would be great for us to get away from it all. I'm certain they're not like savages or anything. Zipped up his suitcase and it was off to the interplanetary shuttle. Rick and Tinsel tagged along for other reasons, but being they were skilled pilots in a planet that doesn't favor technology, Lily decided to bring them. Through a warp gate they started their first leg. While the pilot Lily described more of their assignment, Tinsel analyzed the info provided from her organization. She's 15 years of age and underwent some strict training during her childhood. She's very dutiful and naive. She's used mostly for emergency situations and assists the Federation as effectively as possible. She also had a perfect attendance and was very punctual, as well as being a serious cadet. She could be as protective and strict as a drill sergeant if the need should arise. She overheard the young soldier saying she was rehearsing a tune on her flute until she was abducted by a street gang. Four deity bodies slumbered within the heart of Giant. Holodus, representing solid, Gastro, which resembled the air, and Lixa for liquid, as Chris said. There was also the great guardian Placine, which represented plasma, though its dormant location remained a mystery. Several hours later, they've arrived through the remarkably thin atmosphere. The sky was very unusual as Rick and Tinsel gazed upon its minty color. Below them there were miles and miles of dense vegetation. It was so unlike the overpopulated planets like Earth and Zao. I'm still not sure why Don Genie would want to take over a tranquil world like this. I told you, Rick. Don wants to awaken the four deities and conquer it. Someone like him should never care about its lifestyle or its beauty. He just wants to plunder and rule whatever he sees fit, and it's possible that he might want to capture the deities and sell them for a very hefty profit. Lily pinpointed every detail, including where they should land. Surprisingly, the couple never saw anyone or anything but a gray landing pad next to a sparkling cerulean ocean. An enormous yacht docked beside them. It was just like any other balmy beach. Palm trees were swaying, the air was refreshing, and the humidity was low. When the two pilots stretched their legs, they breathed in the salty breeze. Are you sure we're not in Big Blue? I'm positive, Cadet. The continent where the deities dwell is just up ahead. We have to land the cruiser here, otherwise the natives would get too paranoid. They cringe at new inventions, thinking they're like weapons. That's a shame. I'm surprised they never host a single race here. Not even a hovercraft race. They must be really living in the past. Maybe even further than 150 years ago. Don't question them, Wheeler. They're very sensitive while being compared to the times. Besides, Every world evolves differently. Come, we should unload our vehicles. They did just that when the Bunny Flash, the Dragonbird EX, the Silver Comet, and the Blue Falcon GT were lifted into the yacht. The gliders on each side made it easy to steer against the smooth waves. We should be at the Materia continent very shortly, so you two could just sit back and relax. Tinsel was the first to leave the cabin while Rick had the idea to change to his Captain Falcon attire. He figured it was the best way to blend into Giant's archaic society without being ridiculed. When he was done, he joined her after removing the heavy crimson helmet. "Hey, Rick," he met her leaning over the banister. "You look more heroic while wearing Falcon's uniform, though without the helmet it's much better." "Thanks, Tinsel. It's quite an honor to have the opportunity to wear it and carry on his legacy. I'm sure he must be really proud of us and what we're doing. I think he and Haruka should be watching over us right now." He wrapped his right arm around her, bringing her closer to his side. She then hugged him. "I bet they are." His mind drifted 150 years into the past when he and Haruka were enjoying a similar cruise like this one. It was just like this, only with Tinsel by his side. He closed his eyes as he reflected, until their bodies lurched as they bobbed over some rough waves. Meanwhile, Lily overlooked the gloomy clouds outside. They were blocking out the sun and kept growing darker from white to gray to a complete black. She pressed a button on the yacht's motherboard. "Hold on to your butts, lovebirds. The weather looks very stormy. I suggest you head into the lower decks now." "We're on it, Lily." He took Tinsel's hand, but the choppy waves were already licking the deck. He almost fell as the upper deck went obscure. He led her straight toward the cabin as he held onto the rails while Tinsel stayed close to Rick for support. The three pilots were shocked how the weather had changed so rapidly. "I don't get it. It was clear when we got here. Now it just got severe in under an hour?" "What's going on, Lily? What's happening? Is this normal?" "It's not always like this. The sky doesn't change this sporadically. The weather patterns are acting very erratic here." She looked over the radar. "There's also expected to be some hurricanes, but they won't hit us. Something's not right. It takes a lot more time for the weather to develop than it does on Earth. At least the island's close, so fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride." This was no joke. The nimbus clouds got more sinister and the waves were just as bad. She killed the engines when they reached the port. They saw a number of people assist to tie and anchor the yacht. There were some humanoids, albeit with some distortions to their bodies. Their skin was almost a mix with mahogany and crimson. "Those must be the inhabitants of Giant." Indeed, they were expecting our arrival here. They can be very friendly as long as they're not provoked. The machine should be safe here. We need to find someplace to camp for the night. "Is it going to get any worse?" "I don't know, but we should find some shelter, and fast." The trio ran across the dock only to have them stopped by an unusual crowd walking up to them awkwardly. It almost looked as if they were treading like zombies, putting Rick and Tinsel in a state of uneasiness. Some were actually frail, others were just skinny and scrawny. "They aren't gonna eat our flesh, are they, Lily?" "No, no. They're just here to look over you guys. We don't get many visitors around here." "What do you mean, we?" The duo cringed as they tried to touch them, but the people halted when they heard a bellow. "People of Giant! We have found the chosen one who will grant us peace to the planet. Only he would quench the endless war of the forces of materia." He was tall, looked to be in his elder years, and wearing a mask that sort of looked like a painted golem. "Well, actually, we kinda stopped by for a—" "Nah, don't fret, kid. It's only for the tourists. May the deities protect us." That was sure creepy. Tell me about it. But wait, I need to tell him something. I'll tell them. Lily grabbed his shoulder and whispered. I'll tell them, she declared in her strict voice. Attention, all citizens of Giant! I came here to present to you two talented individuals, Captain Falcon and Tinsel. They're devoted F-Zero racers, and they had heard from the calling from the prophecy. Falcon here is a bounty hunter and the savior of the galaxy, and he'll do what he can to protect the terrible calamity from happening. Everyone was in shock as they mumbled to themselves. They're F-Zero racers? We don't allow technology here. They ruin our way of living. Prophecy. That's why they're here. Well, some of them heard about the champion's outstanding reputation. Falcon's here. Is that why? Eventually they all quieted as they processed what Lily said. Then they cheered. So it's true, then. The famous Falcon has arrived to stop the deities from running amok and to unite each of the sacred orbs to their resting place. After many eons of waiting, we have found the chosen one. The elder raised his decorative wooden rod over his head. The three pilots were allowed access to the resort with the accelerated septuagenarian leading the pack. During the first night at Giant, Lily and the others didn't care too much of the sights. There were numerous festivals, parades, and huts serving various goods. Still, they weren't too distracted as the elder and Lily led them to their private quarters. He showed them where they could stay for the night, and it wasn't long for them to settle down. After about 15 minutes, Lily called for them. She was wearing a delicate, flowing white dress with pink roses across it. To them, it almost looked like a petite wedding gown. There was something they can look forward to in the distant future. What do you think? This may be good for your upcoming matrimony, Tinsel. Yeah, but I'd much rather have it be all silvery and lustrous. Paladin of the Comet rubbed the back of her neck. Just follow me, you two. She escorted them out and through a few curious crowds. Having Lily intermixed with Rick and Tinsel made them feel irritable, some even cautious. Seeing Rick and Tinsel's otherworldly outfits, the primitive people gave them some positive and negative reception as they walked past. They knew they were outsiders, and the place was more exotic by the minute as Lily, Rick, and Tinsel sat next to the ancient priest. They were in a large orange tent and a campfire was blazing in the center. They sat on cushions and were surrounded by some unusual decor. There were also some masks hanging on the walls. Rick figured they may look similar to the deities everyone's been talking about. He definitely was a sucker when it came to traditionalism. He almost lost his concentration as Lily played the song that was said to raise the great guardian plus sane. For some odd reason, Rick's chest warmed as he listened to it. That song. Tinsel looked puzzled with the reaction. When she was done, Lily described the legend being held. Legend? Snapped him back to the present. He removed his helmet and he was actually feeling enthralled about this. The young veteran said it's up to the Chosen One to unite the orbs and bring peace to the planet. At first, Rick and Tinsel weren't sure who it should be, but since he was the savior of the galaxy, as well as being an F-Zero pilot, he knew. Oh, Chosen One, will you accept this challenge that has been brought forth to you? Lily asked as she bent close to him. His heart heated up again. Lily, I'm just the right man for the job. Once all four of the orbs of materia are gathered, I celebrate by playing this song. She blew a joyous melody on her flute. Then it's over. Let's see. Scrolling. Hate it. Sitting across from the group, the elder stood and mentioned the savior next to him. He knelt down and the old man spread some war paint designs on his face. Rick Wheeler, will you take on this perilous trial and protect us from utter harm by the great deity's wrath? I will. His true love went to him and offered, I hope I get to come too. Rick and I, we do everything together, including racing. You can't bring him along if you don't have me. Then it's settled. You three may come. Then it's settled. You three may come, but make sure Giant will be saved. Look after him, will you? Of course. Don't worry, Elder. I'll protect them. By the time the Elder and Tinsel left, she reminded him in a stern manner. Rick, we're not just here to stop a catastrophe. We still need to apprehend Don Genie. Yes, I know. Lily almost reminded Rick of Jody, albeit much younger. Although she was just a teenager, she still emitted a great deal of solemnity, like a general in the army, whenever duty calls. I won't get too personally involved with my assignment. That's the way to go. Until the mission begins tomorrow, have fun while you can. Embrace yourself and their culture. Don't mind the ridicule they give you. I won't. We'll see you tomorrow then, bright and early. Count on it. After she left, he couldn't help but feel some doubt. Why does she keep saying we? The pace quickened during the ceremony honoring the newcomers in the eve of the legend. There was some dancing at the middle of a massive ring and a bonfire was all ablaze. They were surrounded by torches and a wide assortment of drums. He and Tinsel were undoubtedly fascinated by it. This place is incredible. I'm surprised how they can live here without using machines or any artificial material. It's all organic. I can see that. I've never experienced anything like it. The uproars from the spectators along with the instruments were really distracting. That he could barely even think. Follow me. I know a place where we won't be distracted by those party animals. Lead on, Tinsel. They left the feast and headed to their room, which happened to be a shoji, complete with a sliding door made of thin paper and tatami flooring. The atmosphere was slightly quieter and more comforting, though drums were still beating in the distance. When they sat on a bed made of sheets with satin, they began to feel strange, yet pleasant. His heart began to race, as did hers. Their bodies became numb, and they gazed at each other. Their faces neared. Then they kissed passionately. The heat was rising fast. It was sublime as they embraced themselves, feeling their bodies mingle, and their heartbeats as mighty as the percussion itself. Rick felt very similar to a rock, dense yet smooth, while their texture was similar to an absorbent sponge. That moment between them was so phenomenal that by the time they were fastening, she mumbled they're in the final lap, already taken first. Thank goodness they took some extra precautions just in case. All too soon, it ended, just as the bashing died down. They just had enough energy to wrap each other in their loving arms. After a quick smooch, everything went blank. Four deities were based on legendary birds. Instead of fire, ice, and lightning, they were solid, liquid, and gas. Fourth is made of plasma, and is most mysterious of the bunch. Placine is Greek saying to mold. Solidus is a mixture of solidus, which is Latin for solid, and holos, which means whole in Greek. Lixa is Latin for water, and gastro is something I came up with. A song that may be suitable for this fit could be Regeneration, which I already played in the video prior. Also, I actually got this idea from one of my collaborators. It sounds nice, but I could go with the rock and roll. I can go without the rock and roll theme. I know Tinsel and Rick had to tie the knot, but it wouldn't hurt too much as long as it's out of passion. They really let themselves go as they got intimate. I was nervous on describing it without going overboard. I despise pornography so much. Mission begins tomorrow and the next lap. Until then, this is the Ecron Rider signing off.